My name is Kate Demermuth, and I actually really like the discussion from this week. I think it's super cool. I have kind of some personal experience, especially with that culture aspect that it goes into. But it first asks the possible ways that stakeholders influence organizations. If I had to name the three biggest influences on an organization, I would say it's like the customer or the consumer, or the person that's intaking whatever that organization is doing, whether they're like fans of a sports team or the person buying Nikes. That's like the customer. And then I think that obviously the workers, the people who are doing the busy work and the heavy lifting, maybe like the athletes of the sports team, or like the people in Dick's Sporting Goods who stock the shelves, and then the stakeholders. And in my mind, the stakeholders are the people who are funding the company. They're making all of the big boy decisions. They are invested in the progression and the success of that organization. So they're obviously making, like I said, those big boy decisions to do that, to move forward and to make that organization better. So I think they have a huge influence. Obviously, they get the final say. They decide what that organization does and doesn't do, who gets to be part of that organization. They're making all those big decisions. So out of those three that I listed, I think they probably have the biggest influence. And that's kind of how they have that influence. The other question is, what is culture within an organization, and how can it be helpful or harmful? I currently am part of two organizations that really, really value culture. And it wasn't something I really thought about until I was part of these organizations, but it's something that I've come to think is like super, super cool. So I am a Utah Tech ambassador. I'm a member of the ambassador team here on campus. We work with admissions to bring in prospective students. We give tours, we visit high schools. But the biggest part of the organization that we value so much is the culture. We bring people in who are going to be helpful to that culture, who are going to be fun, outgoing, exciting, and connect with those that we're trying to share the university with. We try to do fun like family outings, and we plan events like a formal or like fun lake days on the weekends that we all participate in, just to kind of have like that family aspect to the team. Like, we're 40 best friends that give tours on the side, which is really cool. And that culture that we value so much, and like creating that and protecting it and making sure that it's a thing, has just really helped our organization grow and succeed and become what it is. And people join our organization and try out so that they can be part of that culture. I also work at a local vocational school for autistic adults, and there the culture is super important too. We really want the culture to be welcoming and inviting. We want people to feel like it's a place that they can come and learn and grow and become the best version of themselves. That's super important to us, and we do everything we can to protect that. The same as ambassadors, we like bring people into that. We enroll students or hire employees who are going to better that culture and protect it and understand its importance. And I'm sure, like I said, those stakeholders who are making huge decisions for organizations are considering these things as they hire people or bring people into their organization or allow people to participate in whatever their organization might be. Obviously, the culture of a sports team and like what that might look like, if you have someone who's really good at sports but is just like a terrible person, is going to ruin the stamina of the team, is going to make everyone hate playing, you probably aren't going to bring that person on because they're going to ruin the culture of the team. Culture doesn't always have to be positive. The culture of something can be a negative culture. In my mind, that's like somewhere that you go that's not welcoming, not inviting, not a place you want to be. Maybe people put you down, are super negative. In that case, culture can be super harmful. But I think if you approach culture positively and you make it a priority to make sure that the culture of whatever you're involved in is positive, that it can be a super helpful thing to a team. It can bring them together. It can encourage them to like buy in and actually be invested in the purpose of the organization that they're working within. And then the difference between management and leadership, this is a really fun one to talk about too, but I think that when I think of management, I imagine like the boss man who makes the decisions. He's over everything. He's definitely in charge and calls the shots. But a leader in my mind, leads by example. The biggest thing that I think a leader has to have is trust, and they have to trust that the people they're leading are going to follow them, and then those people have to trust in their leader to be willing to follow them. Like, it's a two-way street of trust. They're leading by example, so they're physically doing the thing that those that are following them are also, instead of just calling shots and making decisions and making sure everything is where it needs to be. And the best example for that I came up with was like a team manager is kind of the person that decides things, makes sure everything's running smoothly, decides the schedule, that kind of stuff. Whereas a leader of a team might be like the coach or the team captain. And the one I really like is that team captain, because like I said, a leader leads by example. So like the team captain is physically playing, say you're on a football team and you're team captain, you're physically playing that sport with your team. You're leading them and you're guiding them because you're on the field with them. Whereas a team manager is off to the side making those big decisions. Yeah, and that's all I have to say. Thanks, guys.